Do you guys remember when the first Spider-Verse trailer came out? We all saw it and we were like, yeah, that looks pretty cool. And then when we all went to go see it, we were all like, what the hell? That was way better than we were expecting. That was amazing. That movie showed us stuff that we haven't seen in animated feature films, and now it's inspired so many other movies that came out after. And we're still getting more that were clearly inspired by it. It was also a trendsetter for multiverse movies. Aside from this franchise and Everything Everywhere, it seems like all the other multiverse movies just don't hit as well as these. Well, after 5 years of waiting, we got Across the Spider-Verse, a sequel that made us all go, what the hell, I can't believe they pulled that off again. Across the Spider-Verse takes place about a year after Into the Spider-Verse. Miles comes across a new team of spider people. Miles and the heroes clash on how to stop a new villain named Spot, who is voiced by Jason Schwartzman, and it's just a new wild journey for Miles Morales. The obvious thing that everyone has talked about is the animation. And I mean, honestly, what has not been said already about the animation? It is astounding to watch. The first film showed new things that we could do with animated films, and this movie just pushes those limits even further. It is a vigorous change of colors and style and energy. There is surprisingly even more detail and thought put into this compared to its predecessor, which I thought itself would have been a challenge, but they were able to pull it off. Multiple characters are animated differently, even if they're in the same scene together, while they could be having a conversation with one another. Hobie, aka Spider-Punk, who is voiced tremendously by Daniel Kaluuya, is constantly changing frame rates. His colors are constantly changing, almost like he is cut from a magazine. My favorite animated sequences would have to be from Gwen Stacy's world, though. It's full of watercolored backgrounds, but the way it's colored feels unpredictable. I have no confirmation on any of this. This is just me speculating, but it seems like these sequences were just worked on by a small team, and it seems like each individual person was like, all right, I'm gonna do this scene and I'm gonna color it this way. And then another person was like, well, I'm gonna do this scene and I'm gonna color it this way. It may come off as incoherent, but it works so beautifully. There's just so much style, skill, and invention put into it that I had to talk about it. The story in Across the Spider-Verse is bold and exciting. Miles is challenging the superhero canon by making his own destiny. Part of it is a coming of age story. Miles is still going through emotions that we regularly go through, such as jealousy, spite, guilt. I think all of that makes sense for his character. He is a 15-year-old teenager. We spend more time with his mother, Rio Morales, in this film. She has a bigger focus on Miles' arc compared to the last one, where it was more so his father was more involved in his emotional development. She and Miles have a conversation that carries a weight through the entire film. It's fascinating to see Miles' way to react to this. However, you can argue that there is a stronger emotional weight that comes from Gwen. Her relationship with her father is familiar to many other Spider stories. While I think some people might have wanted more about the resentment towards Captain Stacy as a cop, I still think there's enough to make their relationship complex. Let's talk about the voice acting in Across the Spider-Verse, because this movie has a cast that perfectly captures the spirits of their characters. I think part of it just has to do with the writing. There is just a great balance between humor, being serious, and action, obviously. It's all handled better than, honestly, any MCU movie, in my opinion. Even if you are not familiar with these comic stories, I'm sure fans themselves will appreciate how these characters are handled. I love Daniel Kaluuya in this film as Hobie, not only because of his insane art style, where it feels like he is cut out for magazines, but it is his attitude that Daniel Kaluuya captures so well. He is an important character in Miles' journey. He is there to support him, whether it may not feel like it at times. Jason Schwartzman plays Spot, and he is great in this. He starts off as someone that might feel more as comic relief. Part of that is because his origin story may feel a little silly. His personality is a little awkward, which fits very well for Jason Schwartzman. And just like all of these other characters, Spot is also going on his own journey in this film, and seeing Spot change makes him far more intimidating and a more interesting villain. The animators got to do some incredible work with him. I love that you can see the outlines like from his sketches in his body. It makes him feel completely different and isolated in his universe, even though he already is completely different from everyone else. but it's just a little detail, something that I appreciate. Oscar Isaac is great in this. He is so great at playing an intimidating Spider-Man. Issa Rae is great in this as well. I can't wait to see what they're going to do with her in this installment. Andy Samberg plays Ben Reilly, which I thought was good. I know some people were a little disappointed with how he was handled. Very small role, but I think we're going to get a bit more in the next film. Also, let's talk about Daniel Pemberton's score. It is a rush of adrenaline. You got the record scratches, you got the big orchestral moments, but there's even more of that now. This score, literally, I think it is about an hour and 47 minutes. It's almost 2 hours of music. It is a lot, and it's incredible. He's blending multiple genres together depending on which characters are involved in the action. There's an instant at the beginning where Pemberton is blending some pop rock with old style choral singing. It's pulled off so well. When he does rock, it goes hard. When he does the record scratches, it makes it so exciting. It amps up the action. It amps up Miles Morales. The quieter moments are also even really fun to listen to. They're really beautiful. Gwen Stacy's theme is my favorite in the movie. However, my favorite track in the movie is Nueva York Train Chase. That song is awesome. You can probably guess what is happening in that scene. Now, I know I wasn't the only person that thought the sound mixing was weird or off, specifically in the beginning of the movie. It seems like that might not have been an issue for everybody. It seems like it was kind of random. I was one of the people that had that issue. I saw it in IMAX, and I think majority of the people that saw it in IMAX also felt this way. It seems like it is more of a movie theater issue than the actual movie itself, but I am sure on a rewatch or if I watch it at home, this might not be an issue. I do think there is a little bit of a lull in the first act. Maybe it's because it's action after action, joke after joke, and then some just quiet moments after that where the characters are being somber, for lack of a better word. I do think these moments work for the story. I just felt the movie dragging for me a little bit. Again, on a rewatch, this might not even be an issue for me. All right, I'm gonna talk about the ending of the movie very vaguely, so very minor spoiler warning ahead. Some people don't like that this movie ends on a cliffhanger. Those people are saying that the story doesn't feel complete, and I can see why those people are saying that. However, I feel like there may not be a complete conclusion for this story. This movie ends with character arcs and development that makes sense. Where Miles is at the beginning of the movie and where he is at the end of the movie makes sense for me. In my opinion, Gwen also has a complete arc in this movie as well. That's all I could say without going into spoiler territory. Maybe I'll write about it on Letterboxd the next time I watch this movie. And also, who knows, maybe people's minds will change by the time the third movie comes out. This movie is a reflection of not just Spider-Man, but any type of hero. What works so well is they make it relatable to us. This movie is asking ambitious questions about consequences, purpose, responsibility, and sticking to the status quo, and it tells this story in an exhilarating way. Miles Morales is without a doubt the most interesting protagonist I have seen in any comic book franchise. They make him so engaging and empathetic to watch that it is very easy to understand him. It is fun to watch him. Really, all of these characters are fun to watch, and they're really well written. The voice actors are perfect fits for their characters. The action and the animation are incredible to watch. I just can't believe they were able to push the limits even farther. Daniel Pemberton's score is a thrill and a joy to listen to. He blends so many fun elements into the score, and it adds a distinct personality to a movie that already has so much going on. This is probably too early for me to say, and maybe I'll regret this, but I feel like we are possibly witnessing the greatest trilogy since maybe Lord of the Rings or Toy Story, if you want to count Toy Story as a trilogy, if you ignore the fourth one. This movie has once again changed the game for animation, just knocks it out of the park as far as multiverse movies go. Why do you even want to see The Flash? We all know that movie's not going to be as good as this, but you can't just praise the writers or the directors or the animators like solely this was all just teamwork that builds up. There's just so many good things in this movie. I feel like the issues that I have may not even bother me that much on a rewatch, but we will see. I'm very happy we get to wait less than a year for this and not 5 years. If they decide to push it back because they're like, hey, we need to clean some things up, we still need to finish it, that is fine by me. I want perfection. Right now, I am gonna give Across the Spider-Verse a 4.5 out of 5. Again, that might change later though on a rewatch. But yeah, so let's end it there. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching it. If you made it this far, I didn't mention this, but I hit 100 subscribers. So thank you guys so much for the 100 subscribers. I know that's nothing, but that's just cool. I was able to do that. Did you like this movie? Did you hate it? If you hated it, please let me know why. I'm very curious. It's quite a minority take, I guess. Please like, comment, subscribe, do whatever you want. Make sure you exercise every day, drink your milk, and have a great day.